This morning I'm going to talk a little bit about Windows 10, and for those that heard me a year or so ago, I called it Fun with Windows, and everybody said, well, what is there fun about Windows, of course, so they didn't know what to do. So this year it's Windows tips and tricks, if you will, and what I'm going to talk about primarily is how you can customize the uh, Windows 10 setup so that it's more personal, and then also some of the tricks that are tricks that are in there, things that you can use that are a little different than what's probably been there in the past. If you're a Windows 7 user, there's things in here that are definitely different. And also I'm going to talk about the new Chromium Edge, which has some features in it that are kind of interesting. I will be showing what's called the development version, which is about a week to a month ahead of what comes out to the general population, if you will. And it has some different features than many of the other browsers have, and I'll just show it to you now. Of course, you want to go ahead and use what you're comfortable with. I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't belong to any organization that has any attachment to Microsoft. So originally, Windows 10 came out over 5 years ago, and now it's into the 2020 H2, and the 2021 is going to come out here sometime, I guess, and then they're going to go to 10X. I don't know. I don't really worry about that too much, so I can't tell you a lot of details about it. And what we're going to talk about is some features that you might find helpful. I'm going to primarily use the computer here in the Computer Club lectern, and then I'm going to switch to mine so that you can see some of the things that I've done. And there's tools in here that will help you, and we're going to talk a little bit about personalization and search window. Many people don't realize if you hit the Windows key and start typing a term, it will automatically bring up search. There's some ease of access settings that make it easier to see the print, the type, the font, whatever you want to call it on there. And we're going to talk about pinning, and there'll be a few other things in here. Mail photos, Edge. The reason I'm talking about the mail photos and Edge is because these are three components of Windows 10 that work together. Many of you have smartphones, whether they be Apple or Android, and you look at a photo on your smartphone and you say you want to share it, and you click the share button on the device. It then goes into however you want to share it, whether it be by messaging or whether it wants to be by email or whatever. You can share it. That same feature is available in Windows 10 in the photos, and in the Edge browser. You can share the websites quite easily, so you can push that to your friends and neighbors. You can also do that within the weather app. So if you want to remind your friends up in Fargo that it's warm down here, you can sort of tickle their toes a little bit. I don't recommend, I'd never do that, of course. But one thing that's in here, and I'll show you this in a moment, is that under a setting called ease of access. You can see up here on the left, it says ease of access. You have the ability to change the text size on the screen. And this covers a lot of the menus that are in Windows 10 and the applications in Windows 10, so that you will be able to read them easier, quite frankly. So that, you know, if you've got a small set of type, you can change that. And then there's, within that same area, there's settings for typing that you can make so that you get some word suggestions. This may be good for some. Here on the right, it says show text suggestions as I type on the keyboard. Well, I know all of you are perfect typists and spellers. I am not, so I like it, because as I start typing that word, it shows me how to spell it correctly, which I need a lot of help with. So that is just a couple of things here. And then the Windows keys works with other keys. And if you press the window key on your keyboard, and then you use one of the right or left arrows, you can automatically move the window you're in to the left or the right. Now, this may not be seemingly that useful, but I use it primarily when I'm trying to copy files from one device to another. If I want to put something on a USB device or take something off a USB device, I can easily put one set of files on one side and the other set of files on the other, and just drag them across, and I don't have to have one behind the other, one in front of the other. The other cute little thing is if you use the Windows key and the period, it brings up a set of emojis. And of course, everybody uses emojis now. A few people know what they mean. I don't. If you get one that doesn't look like it's the right thing from me, take that into consideration, because I'm surely not an emoji expert. A neat feature is the Windows and V. Now, many of us are familiar with the Control V to paste, but Windows 10 has this window key plus V, which has a clipboard history. In other words, you can copy multiple things in a document or from a website, and then you can go back, and then you can go to the new document you're creating, and you can pick what you want to post or paste, I should say, when you want to paste it. In other words, you may have a group of email addresses, or you may have a long email message that you want to paste in, and you can copy all those and then go to the other application and paste them. There's also this Windows P key, which is screen projection, and probably most of people don't use that much. If you only have a single key or a single monitor, some of us have more than one monitor, and you can set it up so that it can be extended. Your monitor will be extended across the second monitor. And my personal opinion is, if you go buy a cheap $100 monitor and hook it into your laptop HDMI, and you start getting used to it, you'll wonder what you did, why you ran that old Model A for so long. So just a little bit of a tip there. And then the Windows plus the K is for connections. So if you have Bluetooth devices that are available to you, it will show them. It'll show you your printers that are connected and other things like that. So let me now go to this, of course, is what many screens look like, or most screens look like when you first open your machine. And it has this nice window and a picture. And then off on the left, you'll see that the you have these desktop icons that have been around for years and years. And they work for people. A lot of people use them. They have some limitations, in my opinion, and but they do work. As Joe Parla told me a long time ago, you got to remember it. You got to double click on them to get them to go. That's how you get it. The other thing, if you go down here to the lower left, you have this start icon, and of course that icon has changed over the years, but it's still basically the same function. You click on that, or you hit the keyboard, and you get this start menu. Now the start menu that you get on a new machine has all kinds of stuff on it. Don has been kind of good here and cleaned some of this off. But basically, these are apps that are pinned to the start menu. And then over here are all the other programs that you can potentially use on your computer. So that's a pretty standard item. And I'm just going to open the mail here. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over here, and on the right side of the screen, you can see all these menu items. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Windows key, and I'm going to type EASE, which gives me ease of access. And this is going to come up here, and I'm going to click on display, and you can see this bar right here. Now, as I increase this bar, and you have to be, the text grows. You can see the sample text grows. Now, you have to be a little careful because you can get it too big for your screen and you may lose some things, but it works generally within reason. So I'm going to apply that. Of course, everything goes a little bonkers, but now when you look over on the right side of the screen, you see all this type is 150% of what it was. So if you're having challenges with seeing some of the font on your computer, you can use this to increase the size and make it easier to read. And this I've done a lot with people here who come up for tech help, but it to me makes it helpful for us folks with poor eyes. So that's one of the ideas here. And then I'm going to put in typing. And so I put in typing up there, and I say typing settings. And this is where you change the typing setups if you want some automatic help with your typing. So that gives you a little idea of what those features do. And you can see this whole mail message is increased in size. So now I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I'm going to open File Explorer. This is showing the file, the USB drive that I have in this computer. And now I'm going to get another instance of File Explorer up, which is the File Explorer within there. So now what I'm doing is I'm hitting the Windows key and the left arrow. And you see the computer moves over to the left side and my USB device is on the right side. So if I want to drag this file over to a folder here, I'm going to open Documents just for the fun of it. And so if I wanted to drag this JPEG file, I just have to bring it like this. And it makes it convenient. You can go left or right, doesn't matter. Type it down in the search box and it says Word, the app comes up. So you can open programs through there. You can search the internet. So this is just some sample type here. It's kind of small, so we'll crank it up a little bit. Now, if I hit the Windows key and the period, it's going to give me some Valentine emojis here. Yeah, maybe we've got a grumpy one or two. I don't know. So this is just a sample of that. Because I haven't copied anything on this, I really can't do the Windows V. Now, as far as the projection, if I do this, you can see it comes up with these other options if you have more than one screen, or if you this shows you connection opportunities, because there isn't a lot in up here. There's not a lot of things to connect to. So that's just an example of some of these features that are here. I knew I should have used Don's second screen on here because I'm getting stuff hidden behind my Zoom controls. So that gives you a little idea. Oops, I hit the wrong thing there. That's okay. So this is more the typical new computer view that you have. And of course, most of us say, what are these things? What's this hamburger? What's this hot dog? Whatever it is. And we simply right click on them and take them off the screen, which is fine. And it's probably best that we do this. I personally have a lot of photos that I use for a background. And I don't like all this stuff on top of my photos, so I change that setting. For instance, if I were to leave the desktop as it is, this is the way my desktop looks. Now, for me, the desktop is someplace to throw things that I really don't know where to put, or I just want to do it temporarily And everybody knows what happens to temporary things. They stay around too long. So mine accumulates a lot of stuff. It's really just looking at a file folder in your computer. So I take and don't have that on my machine. So my desktop has a number of photos similar to this. Those that are from Washington area realize this is Mount Rainier. And I have several national park photos that I go through on mine. And so I have pictures in the background. So what I do is I use the start screen more for my control of things. And when I do that, and the way I have arranged my start screen, when I hit the Windows key on my computer, it's going to come up and look like this. Now, you may say, wow, what all are you doing there? In this case, if I go up to the upper left, you'll see I have a title that says File Folder. So I put folders up here that in reality are on OneDrive and on my computer also. So that is there. And instead of charging through all my various things on the File Explorer, I can click on this, and for instance, if I click here, it will take me to a file folder that is associated with the Windows 10 class that I teach classes, and it has that information in there. So I don't have to go down here to File Explorer and go to OneDrive, etc. I just go there directly. Over here on the upper right, you can see it says Sun City Grand Web Pages. So in order for me to get to Grand Computers Club, I go to this link, and let's see if it comes up. There we are. So it's a one-click item for me, and if you have a touch screen, as my wife does, she can touch those tiles and get there just like you would if you had a tablet or on your phone. Now you'll notice that some of these are a little bit larger and maybe a little distorted. Currently, Microsoft has changed Edge some, and this is the way the new pages show up. So for me to find a program, I have a set of programs here that I can click on, and they will open directly from here. And then I have my Windows 10 apps in this section, which gives me the photos area, mail, maps, weather, whatever. And if I click there, it'll open that up, of course. Over here on the left side, I do 3D printing and things. So I have a group of programs that are associated with that. In order to start from scratch, you need to go through about 3 programs to get there. So that's how I organize this. And you can, anybody can organize it the way they want. It's a Dell computer, so there's things associated with that. And then over here, I have my banking sites. If I click on there, it'll take me directly to that web page. So this is just a little indication of what you can do for personalization. I didn't talk about it, but after you press the Windows key, up here on the upper left, you can look at all apps. And this is the same listing that was on the left side of that original screen. This can be done by setting the start screen to full screen, and it gives you a lot more options from that standpoint. So I talked a little bit earlier about sharing, and we'll go through that. The other feature in here is if you have Windows 10 Mail and you get an email from somebody that has the time and date in there and location, that will, you can click on that and it will automatically create a calendar event for you. And you can also use the location for maps. And the edge, the photos, etc., will actually share. So here's just an example of, this is obviously an old email when we actually had dinners or whatever. But you can see here, this Thursday, February 13th has dots under it. And when you click on that item, it will generate a event in your calendar with that date in there. The title may not be correct. To be honest with you, I haven't figured out how to get everything formatted properly so it all happens right, but it happens. It'll get you started. The other thing in Windows 10, and I think we talked about this a little bit on Monday, down in the lower right, you have the time and the date. And if you click on the time and the date down there, you'll see a calendar pop up. Plus, you have the window here, this text box, where you can add an event for a day that you have clicked on the calendar above. And let me show you that a little bit. So down here at the lower right, I'm down on this time and date. I click there. That brings up a calendar. So if I have an event on the 26th, it's going to say, oh, it's already occupied by somebody's birthday, but I can add, it shows me what's going on there, and I can add an event or a reminder right there without going to the calendar. And the calendar in Windows 10 does coordinate with Gmail and iCloud calendars. So if you're a mixed user, you can use it that way. If you have iOS devices, you can use it on those along with your PC. So I'm going to click on Mail here just to show you. So this is the calendar in Windows 10 Mail. Now, the other feature that you see here is I have my computer set to dark, and to me this helps me. I'm not looking at a bright white screen, so I can set that to dark. Now, we're talking about the share icon. The share icon is in all these apps. It's in Windows, it's in the Edge, and Uh, let me do a little bit there just before we wander off. So I'm going to go to photos down here at the bottom, but this program, when it comes up, it shows you the latest photos that you put in here. And if I click on this photo and go up here to the upper right, you can see this icon that says share. Now I click there, and this gives me options of sharing. So I can do it here with mail, and up here are recent people I've communicated with that I can get to with basically one click. So that ends up, if I click on mail, because I got a bunch of accounts on here, so that automatically adds that to a mail message. Send that, very similar to what you would do if on your tablet or phone. Now in Edge, you also have the ability to share. You can put the share icon up at the top on the toolbar, or you can do it over on the left. And they are now getting rid of the legacy Edge that was around, and all you're going to get anymore is a Chromium version of the Edge. And this is built on the same engine, platform, whatever you want to call it, that Google Chrome web browser is on. And so basically all the features you have in Chrome are available to you in Edge. Plus there's some things that are unique to Edge, and you may find them helpful. It's a matter of what you want to do. And so what I'm going to do here is just show you that some of the things in the development version. And one of the things that is available in Edge now that when I put this together was not, it was only in the development version, is a way to put links in. In other words, say you're on a website and you want to share that with somebody in an email or something like that. You went up to the address bar and you copied that wonderful URL that only certain computer folks understand and read. And with Edge, you can now set it so that it actually gives you the title of the page. And you can see when I run the cursor over there that underneath it is actually the page, the URL, the wonderful internet address that many of us see. And if you're into any kind of a complex place, it's going to be across the page, just as the Zoom link was that you received for this meeting. So that option is available now in Edge. The newer Edge has the ability to put the tabs at the side, so you get a little more vertical space. I've used this some, and I have to say you have to get used to that. And the other thing that is in Edge now is what they call sleeping tabs. So if you're a person that opens several tabs, goes on to other tasks, does other things, Then after, you can set the time for it, but these tabs will do what they call sleep and reduce the number of system requirements. So it gives you, opens up space, memory space on your computer to do other things. And you can get it here. Of course, anybody with updated Windows 10 recently has it. As I said, it's very similar in appearance to the Google Chrome. Most of the people that would move over, you probably wouldn't notice the difference. You will note that what's called bookmarks in Chrome now becomes favorites. And the three-dot menu, not memo, I just noticed that, goes from vertical to horizontal. Ought to read my stuff, I guess. And I said here the settings are easier to navigate and understand, but the last time I looked at Chrome, Chrome has changed their setting menus and things like that, that they look more like what Edge did. So Edge and Chrome are really built on some of the same features, and for some reason Google and Microsoft are working somewhat together. The Sidebar Search is another function in there. It has collections, which I'll show you here in a minute. And it has what's called a Sidebar Search. And what this search does is if you highlight word or words in the middle of a document on the web page and you right click, it will search on those terms, either in the sidebar. So if you've got a word in there that you don't understand and you want a definition for, you would simply do that in the sidebar. It gives you the definition of cat, and you can get that definition and understand what you're reading a little better. There's also a feature in here called web capture, and there's one called smart copy. Now what these do is they actually allow you to capture from the web page beyond what's on your screen as you're looking at it. So you can go down an entire article that may run over several screens, copy that text with the smart copy, and paste it into a Word document or something of that nature. You can also pin the web pages to the start menu or the taskbar. So if you have something that you're going to on a regular basis, daily basis, you can pin that web page to the taskbar under the more tools and easily get back to it. It also has password management in it. It says it will alert you to leaks of your password on the dark web. It also has a password management system where it will generate passwords for you. I haven't used it much, and I don't know how that would integrate with the password managers and things like that. But that it's built in. So the security in here is set up. You can set it up as strict or balanced, and it will also tell you that this website has been reported as unsafe. Okay, so Microsoft maintains a listing of safe sites. If the site isn't on there, it's going to show a warning to you. You can get around it some, but that's something you have to look at. So just to give you a little idea of where these are, what I've been talking about, this is going to come here, this vertical tabs. This is showing you the development version. So the vertical tabs are over here instead of across the top. So it bumps this up a little bit. You don't have their tab across the top. You have a section over here called collections on the right, which will pop out and say you're doing some research on different things and you want to easily get back to those sites. You can put them in the collections. You open the collections up here at the top with this little icon, and you get in there. You can open individual collections and look at them, and so this view shows the vertical tabs expanded. So when you go over there and click on them, you'll see that all the tabs that are available to you, and you can X them out or keep them as you like. So let me see if I can open Edge. I want to open the development version. This is what it looks like. And over here are the different tabs that open for me automatically. And here is the collections. If I click on collections, I now open this thing for my collections. Here in the Windows 10 tips, for instance, I have 10 items. I can add the current page there. So, okay. So I have this collection, and I can open all these in a new window by one click. So I can get back to where I was. Here it says 26 grade apps for Windows 20. Up here at the top is this thing called a reading pane, or immersive reading. So if I click on that, this now gets rid of the ads. So now I just have the article in there with the graphics for it. So this makes it much easier for me anyway to read something on here. Now you see here, this is a link here that when I put the mouse over it, it turns to a finger. But these words up here are not. So I can go in here and highlight this Vox Media, and I can right click on it. And up here at the top, it says search the web, or I can search in the sidebar. Say I don't really want to leave this page, I would search in the sidebar, and I can find out what that is. So it shows me what Vox Media is. And I can use this function even though these words were not a link or anything. They're just text in the document that you're reading. So that can be kind of handy. And if I want to share this page with someone, again, I go up to the top and it says share. And I click on share, and I get a very similar menu to what we saw in photos. I'm not going to go through it. I click on mail and I would go. Now, the other feature in Windows 10 is called Your Phone. If you have an Android, it works with both iPhone and Android, and it doesn't have quite the features with an iPhone than it does with Android, but I don't know the difference totally. So this is your phone app. My phone is connected via Bluetooth, and I have the ability to look at photos that are the most recent taken on with my phone. Good blurry one there. So as Barbara was speaking, I took a photo of this monitor up here, and you can see that, and I can simply open it, save it, at whatever, without any extra connections, going through Bluetooth, connecting the phone to the computer or anything like that. It's already connected. The other thing you can do there is you can read your text messages. I can respond to this text message on my computer without having to go to my phone or anything like that. So that's kind of a cute little handy app. It says you can make calls, but when I click on that, it says I've got apps on my computer that it doesn't like, so I've never used that. So that's just some of the features that Edge is available on the Mac. It's on the iOS, available with Linux. And I have it on my Android phone, so it syncs and it connects. So if I'm reading something on my phone, I can say share that to my computer, and then it will show up in Edge on my computer, and I can read it there. So this is just a little bit about the Windows. So here's a little thing in Windows 10 photos that I made, and the fireball is not real, so don't worry about it. The guy survived. But I did this in Windows 10 photos, and it's a little jerky here today. And this one is another one that I did just for the fun of it. You're probably not getting any sound. I have the sound turned off, but there's sound associated with these. So you can make this kind of a album or slideshow, whatever you want to call it, with your photos in the Photos app, and it generates them rather simply and rather quickly. So that's it. Any questions, comments?
I have a question for Larry. I have not been able to figure out in Windows 10 Mail how to set up a group. In Outlook, I have a group that says like cousins.
Yep.
If I keep searching, will I eventually figure out a way how to set up a group in Windows 10 Mail?
No. I in the past, now I just taught a class on Windows 10 Mail on Monday, and what I'd done in the past is I had created contact with all the emails that I wanted for that group. So I had a contact called Class 2, and if you put the emails in there with a semicolon between them, then you click on that Class 2 or whatever the name of the group is, it will feed them into Windows 10 Mail. Now what you have to do in Windows 10 Mail, you have the heads over there on the right, which will open up the contacts, and then you have to find that group name and click on it and say, okay, I want them, and it will put them in. Now, for some reason, on Monday, when I tried to do that with the ones I had in there, they were all messed up, thanks to Microsoft, I'm sure, and their updates over time. So currently I don't know. I think you can do that, but I haven't tried it recently.
A real fundamental question. I have two laptops now. One I got in 2017, 2018, and one just about a month ago. And both have Windows 10. How do I know that I'm going to always get the most updated features of Windows 10? Because in your first slide, I believe you said that Windows 10 came out in 2015 and it's continually being updated. So how do I know that I'm getting the most current Windows 10? Is it automatic, I guess? Is it?
Yeah. If your Windows 10 versions are home versions, they're happening automatically. You will find that every now and then you have to restart the machine, and it may tell you in notifications to restart it. But in general, my recommendation is you ought to shut it down and restart it at least once a week, and then it will automatically update.
Larry's presentation will be posted on the website. So if you go to the homepage, activities, coffee chat, that's where it will be posted. So if you want to review his presentation slides, etc., it'll be there. Our next coffee chat is March 11th, 8:30 in the morning, and Joe Parla is going to be talking about Chromebook. Thank you all for attending. Thank you very much, Larry, for your expertise.